This is Brian, and I support Fulham FC, and I just did a podcast with a gooner and a talkie who know fucking nothing about football. You have been listening to the DU Football Show.
And all three of those teams collectively, along with the other 17, had a shit fucking weekend.
Absolutely, they did. I might not know a lot about football, but I know this weekend was as exciting as two bald men fighting over a comb.
I can count the number of times I've thought of another bald man for a comb on my hand. That's 0. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smell the Malort. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the Drunkard United Football Show, or sometimes affectionately called the Drink Up Ninja Podcast. A recap of the weekend's English Premier League action is told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston.
No, it's not. Say your name.
Oh,
Say your name.
Ross Mongoose Robinson. And
I'm Matt Lanza, also
Drunkard.
known as Drunkard.
Yeah. And across the way from me is my co-host, Samuel Graham. Sammy, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
AI is so much fun, isn't it?
It is.
He comes up with
I
the
love fucking around
wackiest
with
shit
AI.
ever.
Ross Mongoose Robinson.
And the assist to one Mr. Holmes for writing up the Drink Up podcast. The Drink Up
Drink
Ninja.
Up Ninja, yeah.
Drink Up Ninja. Where Ninja comes from, I have no idea. None whatsoever. We're recording at Studio H, just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Sammy, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. On all of the social medias, that's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, we are at DUfootballshow, and then DUfootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email. Gonna beat this over and over again. Please find Drunkard United FC on Facebook. It's our closed group, and that's where all of the banter takes place.
A lot of good stuff on there.
Yep.
A lot of really, really good stuff.
A lot of fun. So make sure you check that out.
Speaking of emails, our boy Marshall, who asked the question about whiskey about a month ago, has gotten back in touch with us. He ended up trying the Wyoming whiskey. He didn't do the
Woodford
in Makers. He just went with the Wyoming. Said he loved it. He drank it neat, and then he drank it over ice, and he had it with some tacos, and he said it was amazing, and the bottle didn't last long. And I asked him what his preference was, and he said he preferred it a little bit more over ice. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, good. From now on, take a little sip of it neat just to see what it tastes like. After that, drink it on ice, because if that's how you like it,
that's how you like it.
Drink it how you fucking like it.
Ice also changes whiskey a little bit, you know, can open it up a little bit. What we're going to talk about here in a few moments, this one improved with ice.
I mean, it was good on its own, but it needed the ice. It definitely needed the ice. So his next question to us is, where should I go next on this journey? I wouldn't mind trying something with a little smoke. So I'm open to try anything. Now, in that world, that then says typically go barley, right? Just in general, because you're going to have smoke in some Irish single malts. You're going to have peat smoke in some of your Scottish single malts. And you will have smoke also in some American single malts as well. So it depends on the smoke flavor you're going for. My preference is the peat smoke, but I wouldn't direct you there first, to be honest.
What I would say is there's a specific whiskey that comes to mind, that leaps to mind, that is a good intro to peat smoke.
Okay.
If you can still find it, it is the Glenfittic Fire and Cane. It was one of their experimental series. So it is a lightly peated Glenfittic, which is a Speyside, which you don't normally get peated anymore.
Right.
But I would do that. It's finished in rum casks, which get the fire and cane. So the fire being the smoking of the peat moss, and then the cane being the rum barrel. So it has a nice sweetness up front, and then it finishes with just a hint of peat smoke. It's not overly peaty at all. You don't get any of the iodine or any of that you get from Islay scotches. It might be a good intro for you. Also, not ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. Then the other for Irish, I'm really preferable to Glendalough, but Glendalough also finishes their single malts as well. So to keep it on a real simple front, just standard old Redbreast, like a Redbreast single malt 12-year.
It's not bad.
You know, it's going to have a little bit of smoke to it, but it's not going to be any kind of a direct smoke. Like it's not going to be campfire smoke or iodine smoke, or, you know, it'll just have a little smoke to it. On an American front, now this is a weird one, but there's a group out of Arizona that make a single malt, and it's called Delback. And I've had you try this before. Well, obviously, Arizona is not known for having a lot of peat because it's a fucking desert, but they did a mesquite smoke. And all I remember was when I was drinking it is I kept saying, I shouldn't like this, and yet I kept drinking it. This should be hokey, like it's mesquite, like it's a barbecue. I kept drinking it. And then the bottle was gone. So I guess I fucking liked it if I kept fucking drinking it. And it was just a very odd, quirky, very fun whiskey. And the mesquite didn't give it it didn't have a barbecue taste to it, right? Which was what I thought it would have.
It was going to have, yeah.
But it was just legitimately like the smell of mesquite wood. Before you put your meat on the smoker, when you just smell the mesquite wood, that's exactly what it had, that kind of flavor, you know?
Right.
So I know I said meat on the grill.
I was giggling at Delback. I'm like, is that the cousin of D-Back, or is that D's first name?
I was going to make a joke about you saying that I shouldn't like this, but I do about White Claws.
Yeah.
See,
I've heard that before. Last summer.
Graham, you and I get credit for being very patient on our jokes and not stomping all over him like we didn't sound check.
I know, right?
Hey, you lucky I fucks with the black cherry. That's all I got to say. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. It was a shitty weekend of footy.
It absolutely was.
So we decided to give you kids numero uno with a bullet. Sammy, tell us about the number one whiskey from Whiskey Advocate.
I will. I had one more quick recommendation if I may.
Please do.
Where does Marshall live, by the way? Do we know that?
I don't recall specifically.
Because I don't know if you'll be able to find it there, but there is a brand in Southern Virginia called Wasman's. They have the brand name Copper Fox, and they also have Wasman's. And Wasman's single malt is lightly smoked as well.
Okay, very good.
It's in another American single malt, all produced. Met the distiller, very nice guy, hardworking dude. But they are down in the area of Virginia that does a lot of reenactments. Williamsburg. Sorry, brain fart.
Heard.
I mean, that was a wide breath when we're talking about Virginia. You've got a couple different centuries of reenactments that happen.
Not even official reenactments. Just history repeating itself in some cases. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Spicy.
Oof. All right. So we have the Larceny Barrel Proof, which, as Sam alluded, actually didn't allude to it. You just outright said it. It is the number one whiskey of the year in Whiskey Advocate's top 20 of 2020. This is a wheated bourbon. The panel rating was 95, which features wheat rather than rye as their secondary grain to corn. They've attracted legions of devotees in recent years, despite being relatively few compared to their rye counterparts. Wheaters, like Pappy Van Winkle, have achieved rock star status, putting them out of reach for many of us. So when we taste a widely available wheated bourbon that displays the soft, sweet, fruity profile of that style, we have to take note of it. Larceny Barrel Proof, our whiskey of the year, delivers on wheated bourbon's appeal and then some. Big and powerful, it enters the ring at 61.1% by volume. That is a 122.2 proof. This is a big boy. I think by far the biggest one we've had.
Yeah, for particularly for an American whiskey, that's for damn sure.
Yep. It floats across the palate with stunning grace and subtlety. Its wheated mash bill, a delicate counterpoint to its formidable proof. It begins with a flurry of sweet bakery aromas, honey bun, angel food cake. I got more pound cake personally. Yeah. And apple pie a la mode.
Mm-hmm.
The palate dazzles with notes of creme brulee. chocolate, drizzled caramel, honey roasted peanuts, and lashings of baking spice, followed by a lengthy finish loaded with cinnamon, more chocolate, and robust spice. Water helps unleash layers of these flavors, but Larceny Barrel Proof is amazingly enjoyable even at full proof. No easy thing for a whiskey this big.
Yeah, it's fucking lovely. And
only about $50 on the shelf.
Yeah, it's not that expensive. And honestly, you're not, I mean, right now, finding that bottle is damn near close to impossible because everyone's looking for that bottle. Like I know in Virginia in state stores, they release them about once a month and it's on a Friday and everybody's standing in front of the store and they have 3 bottles and the first 3 people that walk in get their bottle.
Yep.
Like that's how that kind of shit rolls. But their standard regular old Larceny that's at a normal 90 proof, had a bottle of that the other day. I haven't drank it much. I had it before, but never really kind of sat down with a bottle to get a vibe for it. It's a lovely weeder. It really is. And what this whiskey here, I think, shows is the ability for a wheat whiskey to have some backbone.
Have some body still.
Yeah, because normally a lot of weeders tend to be a little soft, a little nuanced is the word I always like to use. And yeah, they ain't lying about a cinnamon backbone. That's something you would expect from a rye-based bourbon, not from a weeder.
Yeah,
it's
excellent.
I'm absolutely deserving of numero uno.
Yeah, so far, yeah. I mean, we still have a couple others to taste to finally decide on our mantle.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's excellent. It's probably going to land for me in the top 5.
Yeah, easily
this year.
Yeah, I think last year did we both ultimately think the Dewar's 21 was better than the Dickel?
I think so.
And I think
definitely than the Dickel.
Yeah, I mean the Dickel was good, but I
think both of us at the time said that it was non-deserving of number 1.
Yeah,
it deserved to be on the list,
but it didn't deserve to be number 1. Yeah, this is very, very good.
This is going to be hard to beat. I think this is probably my front runner right now.
The number 2 whiskey, the Knob 12, was damn good.
Yeah.
And certainly, I think, deserves its accolade.
I really enjoyed the Wee Beastie Ardbeg. I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, that was great. That the Abalor 18, the one that was just all dessert bomb, that was quite lovely as well. So
it was a really good list this year.
Yeah,
let's hope it continues. We got a few more to go, obviously.
Yep,
so let's hope it continues. But I'm having a tough time ranking these at the moment.
And get ready, the run on Irish is coming soon because we're just about time to start drinking the Irishes.
That we are.
And I think we've still got the wild turkey rye to do. We have the 3 Irishes, and I think one more after that. We did the Elijah Craig rye already, right?
No.
Okay, so we got the Elijah Craig.
We didn't do Elijah Craig rye yet. We haven't done the wild turkey rye either.
No, I think we did the Elijah Craig rye already. So I'm pretty sure we did it a few weeks ago. I think we cracked that bottle. Okay, I could be wrong.
I don't.
But yeah, I mean, we've got about 5 more to do. And then of course there's one on the list we're not going to do, and we're not even going to talk about it because it doesn't deserve to be talked about.
Nope.
What else? What else we got to do, Sammy?
Drink responsibly, especially with a whiskey this high proof.
Yes, definitely. So not every week is going to be the best, right?
Not your best effort, Premier League.
And normally when we write the show, we kind of go with some storylines and we group them together. And then, although they may have been entertaining games, at the end we do, so that happened, to kind of round it all out. And just to show favor to this week, all that being said, rounding out all of Saturday's action, and so that happened. Man City 2, West Ham 1, West Brom 1, Brighton 0, Villa 1, Leeds 0, Newcastle 1, Wolverhampton 1. Just want to say arduous would be the word I'd like to use for having to watch all of Saturday's matches.
It was a bit of a slog, wasn't it?
Woo!
Jeez. My favorite moment was Vladimir Coufal crying.
Yeah, after the match?
Yeah. Just a standard week in the Premier League. What are you so upset for?
Well, we said this. Well, I think I was the one who said it, and you agreed with me when we did Injury Time. I said, this is going to be the most entertaining, ugly match you're going to watch this weekend. And it was hands down. It was a great watch. I mean,
yeah.
What West Ham went toe-to-toe with them.
Absolutely.
I mean, especially, talk about the stats a little. I mean, you look at the stats.
They could take huge credit for that. The stats were pretty much even except for possession.
Which
both
is something to be said.
Absolutely. I think both teams had the exact same shots on target in general. Yeah. And I think their shots were only off by one. Yeah, both of them 3 shots on target. City had 10 shots. West Ham had 9 shots. And that's despite 310 fewer touches. City had 63.2% of the ball. So West Ham were extremely efficient and got in tackles, got in blocks because not everything was reaching the goal.
In comparisons to when Everton played City the week before, Everton, sure, they tied it up, and at the half it was 1-1, but you felt like, City's going to take this one. At the half of this one, you felt like City was maybe the better team, but you're like, West Ham's taking advantage of their opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
They barely missed on a few shots, and you're like, they're right fucking there. If City doesn't pay attention, they're going to catch them. They're going to catch them completely off guard. Mm-hmm. You had that sense that when you're watching the game, you're like, this thing ain't out of touch for West Ham. No, West Ham is right the fuck in it. They're there.
In true City fashion, they got goals from both their center backs. I mean, they're coming from fucking everywhere. The Pep Guardiola is handing out goals in that team like Oprah does cars on her show.
You
get a goal. You get a goal. You get a goal.
Set pieces. What, does City think they're suddenly Stoke? Like, what the fuck happened?
Right? I think West Ham were just that organized.
Oh, they were exceptionally organized.
But yeah, it's crazy.
And
it's absolutely crazy.
With Fabianski being hurt, and they had to go with Randolph as the back. Like, for me,
absolutely.
I mean, again, I said this last week. Why don't they deserve an opportunity at the fucking Champions League? They're playing. They are staying in their lane. They are playing exactly the ball they need to play. They went out and they got the exact right loanee in a guy like Lingard who has something to prove and wants to go out there and prove it. And
it's just enjoying his football as well.
They're listening to Moyes. Moyes has got him fucking purring. This is the exact opposite of what I thought this team was going to be, but I'm sorry to be gushing over them, but they fucking...
You remember Smokey wrote a fucking obituary for them in the closed Facebook group.
Sam Graham, I'm going to say the following words, and this is going to fucking sting. The best club in London right now is West Ham fucking United.
No shit.
That's the best fucking team in London right now.
Well, Spurs Mark hit me up over the weekend again. We were talking during some of the games, and he said the same exact thing, is that West Ham are the best team.
They are.
In London. But then he also said, this is the best team in 40 years. And I thought back, and I said, yeah, I'm 35 years old, and this is the best I've ever seen them play.
The last time they were top 4 was the year, it was 85-86, so it's the year Everton won.
I was born.
Yeah. It was the year Everton, or it might have been the year, I think it was 84-85 when Everton won. 85-86, Liverpool came in first, Everton came in second. 86-87, Everton won. So yeah, it was the 85-86. So Liverpool came in first, Everton came in second, West Ham came in 4th place. I'm happy to see the West Ham fans aren't getting in their own way, because a lot of times, not the most attractive of football, they like to bitch and moan, when they had Big Sam.
What football fan doesn't like to bitch and moan, though?
Right.
I mean, just you man or Twitter.
Yeah.
you see it.
True. But there's really not much to say about City. The streak continues, and who knows when the fuck they're going to lose. Like, who really fucking knows?
I want to know if you heard David Moisiola's quote after the game. Something about 2 things that you don't think would go together, but they do. Like West Ham being in the top 4 goes together like chocolate and eggs.
Right.
Where did that come from?
Only from the ferryman. Let's keep it rolling. Moving on to West Brom and Brighton. So rather weird game.
Yeah. We can't talk about it. You can't do that.
What? But I'm set. Can I go ahead and start talking about it?
We can't do it. Actually, wait, I changed my mind. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about it right now.
Right. No, stop. We can't.
But
go to
I
VAR.
just started talking. I just
VAR.
started talking about it.
I don't even know what I'm doing. Go to VAR.
I just started talking about it.
I don't care. All right, hold. We're just going to retake it. Re-go.
Okay.
Do it over again.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about West Brom and Brighton, because that is exactly how that play went down. This is what we have to talk about. We have let's see.
Lee Mason fucks it.
Brighton misses 2 penalties. That shit happened. Can we send both sides down for that game?
Yeah, that was terrible.
I feel like it's the punishment they deserve. Putting us through that. I'll be honest with you, Sam. I'm glad I missed the fucked up call. I had to see it later because started watching the match. I saw Brighton miss the first penalty. I looked at the wife and I went, our coffee pot's broke. So I was like, you know what? Let's go grab a cup of coffee and have a drive. Not regretting that decision.
Have a drive. How old are you?
I just drove around the neighborhood for a minute and
Did you
enjoyed
put your suit on too with your little fedora?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Let's go for a drive.
I had a scarf,
darling.
I had driving gloves, big fat sunglasses.
We wind up the front of
down.
it too. Wind up the Model T.
She sat in the back seat on the opposite side of me as I was driving her.
You refer to her as mother the entire time too?
Yeah, pretty much. And then got back just in time to see fucking Welbeck fuck off his penalty opportunity.
Returned me an entire -1 in fantasy.
Yeah. Brilliant trade.
Yep. Fucking asshole.
I mean,
the game was terrible. It was ugly
horrible.
as shit. Brighton didn't even play decent football.
Brighton are now.
Aaron Connolly missed an open goal. As you said, Pascal Gross off the crossbar from his penalty. Danny Welbeck off the post from his penalty. Then it came back and hit him. And he looked like he didn't even know what he did wrong. Well, obviously somebody else has to touch the penalty before you do. Yeah, but that's
a foul.
Doesn't happen enough. Usually, the only time it really ever comes into play is when somebody slips and they kick the ball into their standing foot.
Right. Yeah.
That's the only time you ever really see it. So everybody kind of looked perplexed, but that was the only call, in my opinion, Lee Mason got right that day. And then turned up with an injury and was unable to be the 4th official in Liverpool's game yesterday.
Oh, Coinky Dinky?
Well, I think so. We saw Mike Dean recently took himself out of the firing line. Now, I haven't heard of any death threats being levied against Lee Mason, but
Brighton are too nice of people to care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but West Brom were the ones that had the things called against, the penalties and stuff called against them. Now, they may have, we won the game, doesn't matter, no harm, no foul. But remember, they're Brummy. And that's where Peaky Blinders is from.
I take it back. Their most revered player while in the Prem was Glenn Murray, and when Glenn Murray played for Palace, they used to send him death threats. So, yeah, right. I do remember that. So, yeah,
but yeah, so it just smacks of he needed to take himself out of the firing line after this performance.
Did you see Lewis Dunk on his presser afterwards?
No, what did he say?
I'm standing here talking about the game. I'm sorry. Why isn't he?
Yeah.
He told me to take the kick. I said, can I take the kick? He said, go ahead. And I took the kick.
Yeah.
Why isn't he in front of the press right now answering those questions?
They were saying that on the desk as well, was referees should have to come out and explain their decisions.
But the desk does that all the time. That's fine. That was a player.
Oh, yeah.
That was a captain.
I agree with him.
Flat out calling out a ref. I mean,
I agree with him.
I haven't seen that there's been any repercussion. I hope there isn't, because there shouldn't be. Because, hey, look, everyone has a bad day. Lee Mason had a shit day. Just fess up to it.
I've never seen the ground, a referee especially, want the ground to open up and swallow him so bad.
Oh, yeah. He just
wanted to get the fuck out of there.
You know what? We have given this game all the attention it deserves. Brighton are now right back in the fucking thick of it when we thought they had figured a way to get themselves out.
They're tied with points on Newcastle.
Yep.
And Fulham are only 3 points behind the both of them.
And West Brom got that little bit of light. They got that's 3 points.
Well, Big Sam said before the game, if we keep 8 clean sheets by the end of the season, we'll stay up.
The other one,
he
said,
the first game that he played after he said that, they kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, he said we need 6 points out of these next 3 games. Well, you already got 3.
Yep.
You already got 3. All right, moving on to Villa and Leeds. Dean Smith, for the first time this season, changes up his lineup. decides, you know what, Douglas Luiz, who's a great player, and Ross Barkley, who's a great player, you know what, you're not the right kind of energy that I need to play against a team like Leeds. And he puts in McGinn higher forward to kind of press the action. And then he puts in Rudolph, the kid, Mel, the Ramsey, yeah, and puts in Ramsey to play with Makamba in central midfield. It fucking worked.
Yeah,
it worked.
It absolutely worked. I mean, to play against Leeds, you can't go at them, spearheaded by somebody that eats crayons.
that was a
Very true.
chippy fight.
Yeah, it was. And Villa stormed out to an early lead, and Leeds just didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
It also helped that even on one leg, unable to take fucking goal kicks, Emi Martinez is a goddamn boss.
Yeah, it does help.
Hard to get him
That
past
helps because
Delgado.
what do you have? Fucking 7 saves or something
Something
ridiculous?
like
They were popping in pain pills by the end of the game.
Yeah, I'm watching that, and the guy goes over and eats it out of a cat. I'm like, okay, that's either catnip or pain pills.
He just
Not sure which.
getting them handed to him like Pez. He's like, nah, I'm gonna fight through this shit, motherfucker.
I
Ain't
remember.
mention me.
And the sad part is the guy behind him ain't a fucking slouch. It's fucking Heaton. He's
Yeah.
good. He's
Yeah.
really good.
And they wouldn't put him in. They had to go with they kept on with Emmy, and he played his fucking ass off. It was brilliant.
I found it very funny. Target gets his yellow card and apparently has pictures of the referee wearing lady skivvies because he then not once, twice, 3 times probably deserved a second yellow. Somehow didn't
At
get
least.
it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just in the initial incident where he got the yellow, he could have been given 3 yellows.
Yeah.
But
Target, he looks like such a nice, honest, sweet kid.
well, that was like you remember old Walt Wojciech Chesney, the old
Oh,
Arsenal
yeah.
goalkeeper.
Yes.
I
I don't know why you're looking at me because I don't.
always said that he looks like
I
physically.
call him Walt, and his name is Walt.
Okay.
His name is
that's why he
Wolshez.
That's why he says old Walt, because that's what I call him.
But the way he looks physically is like, as soon as the referee hits the full-time whistle, he's jumping on a moped, a little scooter, and headed to the library. Because he just looks like a very innocent, upstanding citizen.
Yeah, no.
Target looks like the cleanest cut kid that's ever played Duke lacrosse in his entire life.
But you know what? You know what? Much like Duke lacrosse players, Target fucks with or without consent.
Oh, damn.
Allegedly.
Look at Mel coming with the hot fire.
Now, all of that being said, Robert should have been sent off, in my opinion, as well, for taking a swing at him.
Yep.
They
Fuck's
both
sake.
should have been gone. Like it's like, okay, we'll go 10 on 10 now. You two go sit down.
You guys need a break.
Click was sitting on a yellow.
The only thing you could hope for is Garfield being in charge of that game. Hey, take a break.
Take a break, man. Take a break. Click, I think it was Click who had gotten an early yellow, and then later in the game just had a grab by the shoulder, pulled to the ground. Not horrible, right? Not like the worst pull down, but you look at it and you go, that's normally a yellow, even just because it's cynical. And it's like, I guess we're just letting him play today, huh, ref? Let's go get him.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you can say about Roberts, him not giving him a red, was because he was defending himself from Target's targeting.
But you know what? That was a nice little win for Villa. And I think the way that they outleaded Leeds.
Yeah,
That was really weird to see. They really went aggressive at him.
And it should have finished 1-1. Rafinha missed that gilt edge chance.
Oh,
at
God,
the
yeah, he
end
did.
with
Oh,
that header. That
I
was
thought
ridiculous.
it was Dunzo when it came through.
What a terrible header. Open your eyes, mate. Just look at where you want to go. What are you doing? He's completely by himself and absolutely screwed it up. Does it annoy you? Go ahead.
Him as a player, Rafinha. Obviously coming over, he's a Brazilian coming over from La Liga, right?
I believe so.
I think there's going to be a turn. He's going to be a fucking stud next year. He's already really good. I have a feeling once he's got a season under his belt in that system, he is going. I think he's a fucking 15 to 20 goal scorer and like a holy shit, where did this guy come from kind of player.
The way he does his shorts annoys me.
Just the pull up short thing.
Yeah.
I got to show you my
rolls them
thighs.
on the inside. Yeah.
Like Alexi
but then
Sanchez
pulls,
used to do.
Yeah, but then pulls his fucking socks up halfway up his thigh, too.
Yeah.
It annoys the absolute
He just wants you to
out of me.
really look at his thighs. look at my thighs. Look at
I
him.
mean,
These
Jack
big,
can't
meaty
even
thighs.
get that up. He does wear the same style socks. They just can't get like mid-calf.
All
He
right,
had to cut holes in the back of them.
All right,
Like
we-
slits to get his fucking calves in it.
Now, granted, it's all been jabs, but we've already given this entire day more than it deserves. Newcastle and Wolverhampton, they played a professional match in the English Premier League on Saturday.
Yeah, Lascelles and Neves both scored goals from headers, from set pieces. So boring.
It was,
And once Almiron and Maximum went off, there was no spark.
I was about to say, it was like, okay, this is watchable, and then St. Max goes off, and you're like, this isn't even watchable anymore.
No, it was like when Tony Stark's chest thing didn't have a light in it, and he couldn't move fast, or whatever it was.
It was Newcastle outshot fucking Wolves.
Yeah.
What kind of upside down world are we living in?
Yep.
Rounding out the rest of Sunday's action, and so that happened. Are we detecting a theme, boys and girls? Arsenal 3, Leicester 1, Fulham 0, Palace 0, Tottenham 4, Burnley 0, Chelsea 0, Man U 0. And that's about all we need to say about that one. Liverpool 0, Sheffield 0. Nice little win for your Gunners, Sammy.
Yes, with a very weakened lineup. Had my stomach in my throat when I saw the team sheet. And my fears were realized when Yuri Tillemans put Leicester up, and then 3 minutes later, Bert Leonard tried to gift Jamie Vardy a goal. Luckily, he hadn't gotten going yet, and the Red Bull was still in full effect, and he touched it immediately back to Bert Leno.
Yeah.
Because his first touch was so poor. And then David Luiz got Arsenal level in 39 minutes. We grew into the game. We started to
From
really...
Willian. Willian finally put off a good cross on a set piece.
Another one.
The only reason why you fucking signed him.
I think his pass was deflected for the second assist, but I think you still give him the second assist as well for the third goal. The Pepe scored because he was the one that got there and clipped that ball past. I think it was Johnny Evans that was trying to close him down.
Got to be a little nervous that Smith Rowe went down with an injury.
Yeah, but Odegaard's been playing very well, and I think he did in this game also.
So where you're playing with the weakened lineup, let's talk about Leicester, who has now lost Maddison and Harvey Barnes.
They are going to be in trouble, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Yuri Tillemans, and I don't know that they'll be able to cope with it, to be honest.
They're missing, Johnny Evans now, too.
Oh, and that was Lacazette was the other goal from the penalty that Ndidi gave away.
Evans, Fofana, and Morgan are all down. So basically, Sinyochu has to run the entire central defense by himself.
Yep.
On the outside, Justin, young, promising player, down.
But still young.
Now,
Yeah.
fortunately, you got Pereira back, you got Cassagna back, so you've gotten some guys back, but man, one step forward, two step back, unfortunately, for Leicester.
For the injury list, yeah.
And Barnes, it looks like out for a considerable amount of time. Like Maddison, looks like he's going to come back. That's not good. Now, I don't doubt him because Rodgers has been able to manage injuries with this team this entire season, and they've stayed in the top four pretty much this entire season.
Yeah.
But you have to wonder, when is the dam going to break? And this might be it.
It could be, but at the same time, you have somebody in Jamie Vardy who's ruthless as fuck, right?
Yeah.
And when Leicester have needed him before, he's come up trumps.
Yeah.
So they don't need to be pretty like Harvey Barnes and James Maddison can play. They can sit back and counterattack through Vardy.
We can park the bus and throw the ball long.
And he'll be fine, right?
Yep.
He'll create some of those chances on his own.
He'll get you a couple. He'll figure out a way.
I think Leicester will still be okay. I think you'll see their form dip a little, but I don't think you'll see them drop out of the top four. And hopefully they can get them boys back before the end of the year.
You guys have to keep it rolling, though. You got yourself back into the conversation, and then you lost a couple. And now you got the opportunity to get yourself back in the conversation. Don't fuck it off.
Right.
Like go.
I think we got some much needed rest for Bukayo Saka, for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, for Bellerin, for both center backs, Holding and Gabriel. We've got some much needed rest for these guys, and hopefully we can keep trucking along.
No, next match, Fulham and Palace, the other early match. Fulham dominated. I mean, great game out of Guaita. He had 4 saves, looked really good. But what was the analogy you wanted to throw at me about this that fits so perfectly?
Fulham was, just watching it, because I kind of played out the 8th grade dance thing. But Fulham actually did try hard, like a sweaty 16-year-old boy trying to get a date from the head cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
And her just being,
nope.
No, not happening. Putting that wall up.
No, not here.
Yeah. And but he just kept trying, kept asking her out, and she continually turned down his best efforts, and yeah, it just ended in a stalemate.
My boy for my bet, Maja had a wide open header. He should have put away.
Yep, and that would have completed my bet as well.
Yeah. That should have gotten put away. It really, I mean, he was above the defender. He had a good look. He hit it perfectly. He just nicked it a little. Sometimes you get that good looking header and you focus in on it so much to go, I'm going to put this right off the upper 90s, right in that little corner right there. And you go, whoop, right over top of the post. Instead of just hitting it right at fucking goal and putting it in the back of the net.
Right. I wish it was possible, but the performance was so poor from Palace. Despite it being a draw, Fulham are the only ones deserving of a point.
Yeah,
you can't give them 3 because they didn't score a goal.
Much like West Brom and Brighton, where we both want them to go down because of the game we just watched.
Palace should just get nothing for this, and Fulham should only get a point for not scoring.
But you know what?
It was just that piss poor from Palace.
But this week, that smash and grab and that draw, pretty much, I think that pretty much wraps up security and safety for Palace.
I mean, it could be.
They'll be in the Prem again.
You got to think about it. Brighton were on the back of the longest unbeaten streak outside of City in the league. Just 2 weeks ago, and now they're involved.
4 points out of the drop zone after
3.
dropping 2. No, it's they're at 4. They were because
Newcastle and them are both on 26 points, and this point for Fulham brought them up to 23 points.
Okay, that's right. My mistake.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Now they have a better goal differential, Brighton.
Brighton, yeah.
But which is at this stage of the season, as we always talk about, the old cliche, like having an extra point on the board. But things can turn quickly, and Palace can find themselves sucked right back into it if they can't get out of their own way.
Right. Yeah. Spurs. So now you score.
Yeah. Well, this is the rebirth of Gareth Bale. I mean, completely. And as much as it pains me to say it, they were fucking excellent. Now, Burnley, dealing with a ton of injuries, also had a very weakened lineup. Mm-hmm. But they still had Nick Pope.
Yeah.
Son and Gareth Bale both played fucking phenomenal passes. Actually, Son played 2 phenomenal passes for all assists that were brilliant. And Gareth Bale's 2 finishes were lovely. Harry Kane's was a bit fortunate because it took a deflection that took it over Nick Pope. Mm-hmm. But it was
that's what strikers do.
Yeah, I mean,
put yourself in the right situation.
Imagine that you have 3 world-class frontmen and 1 really good frontman in Lucas Moura. Mm-hmm. So you have 4 excellent players on the field, and you let the shackles off. And imagine that they scored some fucking goals.
Yeah,
it's not rocket science, Jose.
Yeah.
It really isn't. Let your players play to your strengths. You don't have a world-class defense, so attack.
Right.
Use your world-class talent to your benefit.
Especially,
there's no reason Harry Kane should be the only person beyond midfield.
Especially those 3, and that's the first time those 3 have started a game together in the Prem this season.
Right. Gareth Bale needed a while to get his legs under him again.
It's the 26th fucking game in the season, and you finally just now decided, let's go with Barrett on one side, Son on the other, and fucking Kane down the middle. Let's do that. That sounds like a
Lucas
great
Moura
idea.
right behind them. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
And for Spurs,
I just don't understand why he wouldn't do it.
Spurs, the exact same thing. They've now put themselves back in the conversation again.
Correct.
Because fortunately the league is that tight that you're back in the conversation.
But what happened last time when they won 5-1? What happened last time?
And
they went out and
fucked off.
They went right back to parking the bus for absolutely no reason. So let's see what happens and see what Tottenham we get next week.
Burnley, not out of the woods yet.
Nope.
It was like,
and that was a shit performance.
And they had just put up a couple of great matches, scoring goals, seemed like things were going their way, and then just like that,
they were picked apart.
Right back in the fucking thick of it again. They
Absolutely.
are not free. And there's one last team, surprisingly, that we'll talk about here towards the end, that also, they aren't out of the fucking woods yet either.
Liverpool?
Yeah, them. Chelsea, Manchester United. Let's only talk about really one thing. The penalty was not the penalty call was not a penalty call, and the only reason why anybody even thought it might be a penalty call was because it would have favored Manchester United.
Right.
Greenwood threw his arm up into Hudson. Was it Odoi or James?
I think it was Hudson Odoi.
Yeah, he threw his arm up into Odoi's chest. Odoi put his hand on his arm to push it away. The ball happened to hit his hand. It was not a fucking handball. It shouldn't have even been talked about. There's no reason why Ole should be pissed off that it wasn't called as a handball.
Or Luke Shaw saying what he said after the game. What are you talking about? And then bringing the credibility of the referee into question.
Did
you hear that?
Yeah.
I heard him say to Harry Maguire that if I call a penalty here, there's going to be a lot of talk about it.
Yeah.
So I can't give it.
Like, just no, fuck off.
What are you doing?
That is Manchester United at its height of its, elitism.
Absolutely.
Well, we deserve that one. No.
Well, what wasn't elite was through 62 minutes. This is the first line of my notes. Through 62 minutes, just 3 shots on target between the two teams.
Yeah, it was fucking horrible.
Ugh. Both keepers did make a couple of pretty good saves. Mendy's, I think, was probably the best in the game where the ball came through plenty of bodies, and he would have seen that very, very late. But good reaction to save it. But other than, it is some decent football through the middle of the pitch, but the final ball in this game lacked every single time. The final ball was just piss poor.
Manchester United fans, you want to know why you're going to finish in second place? It's not because Manchester City's on such a great run. Your form against the quote-unquote Big Six. 5 0-0 draws and 2 losses. That is it. That's your fucking stats.
Yep.
You want it, and don't talk about the we lost one to a shittier. No, 5 0-0 draws. You don't want to win. That right there tells me you don't have the want or desire to win. That you are perfectly fine seeing out the long con and finishing in second place because of it.
Yep.
Finally, the Reds desperately needed a win, and they finally got it, and they finally get a shutout. You make the reference to the 16-year-old boy trying to get a date with the cheerleader.
Yep. This
is the one where, sometimes been on a cold streak, you need some action, and the person across the bar might not be the most attractive of mates, but it's the mate that's there. And you're going to score, and it's a sure thing. That is exactly what Liverpool, Sheffield United was.
They needed a game against the worst team in the league to get some confidence back.
They just needed it. It doesn't matter. It would have been really good if they had won 4 or 5-0, like that really kind of all right, we're back, baby. But you just needed a win.
So what you're saying is
shutout. That's something.
This is the rebound after the long relationship.
Yes, that is exactly what that was.
Terrible, absolutely terrible.
You don't
Aaron
feel
Ramsdale,
very good about it.
Aaron Ramsdale did his best.
Counts.
Yeah, as in this analogy, Aaron Ramsdale did his best work as a wing lady trying to stop her friend from engaging.
Oh yeah, blocking it all. No,
he had himself a hell of a game.
Yeah,
it was terribly unfortunate with the deflection for Firmino's goal. That kind of flattered Liverpool, in my opinion, on the scoreline. And Curtis Jones, nabbing that goal was well done to him. He reacted well, came to him. But another arduous game.
Yeah, just wanted to fall asleep. It was so bad.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Sam, one more segment. Guess what it's going to be called? Rounding out Monday's action in so that happened. Everton won, Southampton 0. Everton scores very, very quickly right off the bat to make us all think, hey, maybe it'll be different. Wrong. No, wrong. It's going to be a very slow, tedious, unattractive match.
I didn't even listen to it. I thought I'd been punished enough by the footballing gods all weekend. Excuse me, that I didn't even listen to it today in the car.
The Toffees and Carlos, and I quote, unbusy bench. Because we didn't have many guys. We were trying to give people some rest.
Well, everybody that doesn't like foreigners and all that shit and Brexit or all the xenophobic people can fuck off, because the amount of new words that the foreigners bring into the English language, it being their second language, is fucking hysterical. Like Daniel Farker referring to them as the topics.
Yes.
And this Jurgen Klopp's favorite word is situation. I fucking love it. It's brilliant. An unbusy bench.
Yeah. Davies, James, Coleman, perfectly healthy. Just didn't put him on the bench. Why? I'm fucking resting him. I'm going to play the chess game. Hence the unbusy bench.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be influenced to maybe put them on the pitch, that I'm not even including him on the bench. I'm just telling them, you got the day off, boys. Go rest.
Yeah.
Because a game like this, you definitely would have brought on Davies. You definitely would have brought on Coleman, and you definitely would have brought on James.
Yeah.
You definitely would have brought them all on. Richie, nice little goal. He's now scored 3 straight matches, so he's doing well.
I heard he did some diving though.
Oh, yeah, a lot of diving. So much diving. Which is funny, because that would bring me on to the next person. Knowing the amount of diving my team was doing in this match, Salisu, who was starting in center back next to Vestergaarden. A lot of time on the ground. Him and Dominic Calvert-Lewin would go up for 50-50s, and he'd end up on the ground. It's like, you're center back, mate. They ain't going to call it. Get the fuck up. Got subbed out because of it.
Brilliant.
He spent more time on the ground than he did actually standing up. Might as well take him off the pitch. Here's the thing. Saints are fucking free falling. They've got 1 draw in their last 9. They have not won since beating Liverpool. And if you don't finally win a game, I'm sorry, you're falling into this battle, because if you keep fucking losing, especially if you keep losing, and God forbid you lose to any of the teams below you,
you're in trouble.
You are right in the middle of this fucking battle. And then for Everton, step in the right direction.
Yeah.
They still got the game in hand. They're right there in fucking 7th place. They're in the conversation. They're definitely, I mean, they win their game in hand. They're then in the top 4. Like, so, I mean, that's really the big thing. And that's as ugly as the overall weekend's action was. It's kind of apropos to what the league is right now. It's that tight and it's that fucking unpredictable.
Absolutely. And, just to round out the action, a favorite trope of ours that we like to use, and this was the weekend for it, Mel, they can't all be winners.
It's time to tell you what little we know. It is prediction time. You won't hear the brilliance, but it was brilliant. Hey, Sam, it was still shitty action. We still managed. We're going to be over an hour on this show because we're already at 45 minutes. Yeah. We all lost this week, even the bird. So you got partway on your bet, but that's not a winner. And you're back down now to minus 565. Sammy, what are you picking for us this week?
Well, just to make sure that I stay down, to give you some encouragement, my bet this week is going to be plus 549 once I hit it, and I'm going for a Wednesday triple away special.
Okay.
I am parlaying Leicester to beat Burnley, Villa to beat Sheffield, and United to beat Palace.
All right.
Burnley were that piss poor that I think Leicester can do it easily without Madison and Barnes.
Without missing half their fucking team, they could still beat them.
I think they'll be fine.
All right.
So plus 549 is the odds I got on that.
All right, so still has you down, but it'll at least get you back close
down
to
$16.
Precisely. Very good.
Thank you.
All right.
And now it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Patty, you were so close, man. Wolves and fucking Newcastle. That was the one that should have hit. It should have been Wolves 1-0. Like, that's what it should have been. Just fucking Newcastle had to go and fucking score.
Yeah, Hulk smash.
That's how it's been going lately. In the previous week, that 3-game parlay, all I needed was Tottenham, and they sucked it up. So
Yeah.
It is what it is.
So what do you got for us this week?
This week I'm going to try my hat at a heavy favorite parlay, 2-game parlay. So I'm down $1,327, and I'm pretty much getting fucked on all my bets. So let's see how this one works out. So for midweek games, I'm keeping it pretty simple. Manchester City over Wolverhampton at -476, parlayed with Manchester United over Crystal Palace at -227, and on a $250 bet that will pay me $185. That's how desperate I am.
You know what? It's fucking something. It's fucking something. And especially, Palace has not been playing well, and Wolves can't find anybody to score for them, and City can't fucking lose. So
yeah, I couldn't take the -1.5 goals for Manchester City because I know I'll just get fucked. I don't know. It'll be like a late goal, meaningless goal just to cover the spread. Or
it'll end up being 1-0, like a 1-0 win for City, and you'll be like, great, City won, but I'm fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I'm just going to pick a straight up winner and not deal with points. At least not during the midweek.
Excellent. So did the cops pull you over because Sam was telling everybody to reach out to
he was saying the wrong
North Carolina
city. I was coming from Myrtle Beach. I go nowhere close to Raleigh, though.
Oh, it's the only other town in North Carolina I could think of.
Well, Myrtle Beach is in South Carolina. There,
all right, but North Carolina's on the way home, isn't it?
Yeah, you could have said like Wilmington, Rocky Mount.
Wilmington, I go through
Delaware.
Yeah.
No, Wilmington, North Carolina, dork.
Never heard of it.
All right.
Seriously?
Never heard of it.
All right. So
I went to a nightclub in Wilmington, Delaware once. It was called Lavish. It looked like a shitty basement.
Okay. So
Wilmington, Delaware, isn't that just a rest stop area on your way to New York City or Atlantic City or something?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So Pat, at least you got this one over on Sam Graham. You at least have a very fair understanding of geography.
I understand geography. I've never heard of some bumfuck town in North Carolina called Wilmington.
He doesn't know of major cities in North Carolina like Wilmington.
Wilmington's not a major North Carolinian city.
There's an international airport there.
It's right next to Camp Lejeune.
I know Camp Lejeune.
Okay, well then you're close.
Maybe Wilmington should do something a little bit more famous than be the home of the fucking Marine Corps.
I'm pretty sure Wilmington's larger than Delaware. I mean, Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Delaware itself is only this big. I could stand at the southern tip of Ocean City and piss all the way to the top of Delaware.
All right, Patty. We'll talk to you next week, brother. Okay.
Or Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
You got a fucking Thursday show again.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose, and then you'll call us Thursday and you'll lose again. That's kind of how it's been going for you lately.
Well, I was almost thinking of just saying, hey, you know what? I'm not even going to pick. I'll just put $100 down on whatever Houston's freaking up. I'll just put 100 on your bet. I was almost thinking of doing that.
All right. Well, that might be a smart move. Except for the problem is if I pick the same game as Sam picks, I automatically lose. So that's what happened to me this week.
No shit.
Yeah, basically.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you Thursday.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Like I said, bet the same game as you. My mistake. So now I'm down 120, which is still less than you. But that's okay because it's been documented, Sam, in Vegas, that I am 238-5 when a Sunderland Till I Die player doesn't score to hit your bet. That's right. It's fucking documented.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
29.6% of the time, it works 100% of the time. For the midweek, I'm going to take a duo of goal scorers in a parlay. I'm going to take Jamie effing Vardy to score against Burnley, because who the fuck else for the Foxes is going to score?
Right. No shit.
And Dominic Calvert-Lewin to score against West Brom. That it will net me plus 331.
So when you lose, and I'm only down $16 US, you're going to be super pissed.
No, I won't, because you're going to miss and I'm going to hit. So that was a pretty great segment, but we give you more. We give you Kitty the Chicken.
So Kitty missed with the Foxes, and she sits at 13-13. For the midweek games, I gave her Aston Villa heading to Sheffield United. Now, Kitty showed me a Zoom video of her watching last season's match during Project Restart with Roger Taylor, Simon LeBon of Duran Duran fame, and the three of them witnessed the goal lineup mishap that ultimately led to Villa's survival. Despite the internet delay involved with every Zoom watch party, the boys were happy their villains survived, and so Kitty is clearly a villainista, picking them to beat athletes! And always, gentlemen, remember, and ladies, gamble legally, what?
Finish your sentence.
Let's say gamble legally and responsibly.
Much like this weekend's action. Not your best effort.
Oh, you suck.
Fantasy's not over again, and there's a lot of midweek action, so the games are even too close to really go over.
We'll talk about it on Thursday.
Yep.
Oh,
we'll do that on Thursday.
Yep. And the other games happened, and I lost, and I really don't care, so we don't need to continue that. Sammy, any parting words?
Nah, I guess not. I was going to be a dick and try to open a can of worms, so we hit an hour and a minute just to piss Mel off, but I'm not going to do that.
I will give you one parting remark.
Okay.
Today, March 1st, marks the 41st anniversary of the passing of one Mr. Dixie Dean, Everton great.
Okay.
And one thing that Dixie did in a single season that when we talk about unbreakable records, this one's going to be fucking it. In a 40-game season, this man scored 60 fucking goals in a single fucking season.
Hey, is it safe to say that Dixie fucks?
Dixie definitely fucks. And if you see, I mean, the big statue that you see in pictures in front of Goodison, like the big fuck you, I'm here, I'm a man picture statue, that's Dixie. Like that big, I don't like, you think you call Duncan sir? Duncan called Dixie sir.
Right,
That's all there was to it. So
Dunk is just an underboss.
Yeah.
Dixie's the head.
Yeah. So it was it's the anniversary of his passing, and worth mentioning just because it's a great record that a Liverpool person will never break. So that's going to wrap it up, boys and girls.
Actually,
yes.
you know what? Somebody shared something in DUFC, in the Drunk United FC closed Facebook group that everybody should join. And it was Arsenal used to have a player called David Dix, and he was injured.
Yes,
and
we've had this joke before.
I know, but
You're just
he
eating
just
up
brought
time,
Dixie.
right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
pretty much. You caught on.
Yes.
www.patreon.com/DUfootballshow. Sign up, and we'll see you on Injury Time, which is coming up next.
Where I'll be chastising both Sams.
All right. Next up, injury time. Guess that's it. We'll talk to you on Thursday because we got some midweek action. Till Thursday, everybody.
Bye.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smell the Malort. Look great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button!